Welcome to the Gastlecast! I'm Chris.
I'm Heather.
On this episode, we're going to talk about the pops we think are the most poorly executed.
We each chose 3 pops that we think could have been done a little bit better. So let's get started.
Stonekeeper.
Stonekeeper.
I remember when they released photos of the pop, and I remember being excited at first and thinking, wow, this is the greatest thing ever, because we had just seen Infinity War, and I thought the pop would be just fantastic. And when I got it in the mail, instantly I thought to myself, wow, they could have done so much better.
When I saw it, I was like, this doesn't really look like Stonekeeper.
Agreed. And like the face wasn't there. It wasn't the proper face, I didn't think.
Yeah, his face was, he looked sort of like a red Voldemort.
Yeah, he did.
It's weird.
And then like the cloak wasn't, I mean, the cloak was cool. Like I like that he had like the hood on and everything. It just didn't look like the Grim Reaper look that he had in the film.
I agree.
Like it just didn't match up. He looked more like a Mad Max character to me. I was just really excited about getting another Red Skull figure because we never got our hands on the original, and then they gave us that one. So it was a bummer.
Yeah.
So I think they could have improved it by giving him a better looking face and made him look a little bit more ghostly. That's in my opinion.
Yeah, ghostly's a good word for it. So the first one on my list is Stripe.
The Stripe Gremlin is one of my favorite characters of cinema, like film.
Yeah, he's cool.
The puppet was so cool. The NECA figure that we've shown on here is fantastic looking.
Yeah.
But we also have to remember that this pop was one of the original like Funko Pops. He was like part of that first horror line. So you kind of have to give him a little bit of a break.
I disagree with that statement fully because I feel like the flaws on this pop are pretty major.
Okay.
Like, I understand that pops are meant to be sort of cutesy, right?
Right.
However, this is sort of like the bad guy Gremlin because
Sure.
they're not good. Like, he looks really like a sweet guy in pop form. And in the movie, he isn't.
I think that he looks like a Hanna-Barbera variation of a gremlin. I think that he looks like the cartoon form of a gremlin.
Yeah.
Is that what they were going after? Maybe.
I think so. I feel like a lot of the earlier pops are more cutesy.
Yes.
I feel like they're a lot happier, a lot more like childish.
I agree.
Almost.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're not really. They're meant to look like the pop version of themselves. Now, as we've seen, they've gotten to be a bit more realistic, especially with like the scarier characters.
More details. Yeah. I guess. Like the new Gremlin where he's opening his jacket up.
Yes.
There's a lot of details to that Gremlin.
Yes.
That's what Stripe should have looked like,
Exactly.
but he didn't, and maybe that's because Funko was sort of at their infancy with the pop scene.
Right.
But they definitely need to make a new Stripe.
They do.
Because the Stripe's color is way off too.
It really is, and that's why I disagree with your first statement. Because he's obviously not bright green.
False God Superman is one that always stands out for me, where they totally missed the mark. The question is, why did they even think to do it? It was a statue from Batman vs. Superman, or BVS, whatever you want to call it, where it was Superman, a big statue of Superman, and it said False God on it. It was a very striking scene from the film, and they decided to take a regular Superman pop, paint it silver, and then put False God on there, like in text.
In my opinion, I think it's a neat looking pop, okay? It's like metallic.
Right.
And it looks, to me, it looks almost artsy. That's what I thought they were going for. I thought they just grabbed the Superman pop and they were like, okay, let's have some artists come and just do something with it to make it into an art piece, right?
So you didn't realize it was from a film.
Right. Knowing that it was supposed to be a statue, I hate it.
They could have made a completely different mold. It could have been a Superman statue-esque looking mold with False God on it. Maybe even a 6-inch, and it would have looked really, really cool if they had done that. But they didn't. They missed the mark, and this is one that I consider a big failure.
So the next one on my list is Remus Lupin as a werewolf. I feel really sad putting that on here. Like, really sad. Because I absolutely love that pop. However, I feel the same as I feel with Stripe. While he's not like a super cute Funko Pop, I feel like they could have made him uglier. I like his stance. He has like the long arms and he's real slender. But I feel like if they made him into a 6-inch pop, those features would have stood out a lot more.
Right, yeah.
And he would have looked a lot creepier like his movie version.
Right.
I wish they had done something like worse with his fur because in the movie, he looks like he's diseased or something.
Right.
Like he looks really creepy and messed up.
I remember seeing it from a distance, and it looked almost like a proto. Like the color was so light to it. Like it looked all one color, and it looked very
except the eyes.
Almost looked like gray with like 2 yellow eyes sticking out of it. Like the same gray all the way around. No changes in color.
Yeah.
It just didn't look very good from a distance. But as I got up closer, it looked a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I just think the pop in general, they could have really done something with it. A werewolf is an interesting creature. They could have added a bunch of different features, a bunch of different details to really make it stand out in the Harry Potter series of Funko Pops.
Yeah.
And they kind of just said, okay, just paint it gray and put it on the shelf. Ultron. Ultron is my number 1 of my 3, basically. This is one that I've been upset about since the day it had come out. So, Avengers Age of Ultron, that film, those pops were some of my very first pops I'd ever picked up. And I remember seeing Ultron and thinking to myself, wow, this is the most mediocre Funko Pop I've ever seen. And as time has gone on, it is one of the worst pops I've ever seen. So they made 2 different versions of Ultron, one with a closed mouth and one with a smiling mouth. The smiling mouth was a bit of an improvement. But the fact of the matter is that Ultron was a large character. He was more slender. Now, it's an old school sort of Funko Pop. So he's a little bit of the heavier looking Funko Pop where
like
they're stocky looking. It looks like a blank male Funko Pop in a Ultron jumpsuit. If they made it larger, if it were a 6-inch, it was a little bit more slender, bigger, it would have really been awesome. Or maybe even chromed it or made it metallic. That would have made it really stand out, but they failed miserably.
So the last one on my list, and the number 1 for me. Now don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this pop. I love Freddy Krueger. I even went as far as to get my syringe finger pop signed because it is my favorite Freddy Krueger
It's
pop.
a great Funko Pop.
It's
I agree.
An incredible pop.
Agreed.
They have the burned skin, they have the exact colors of the sweater and the pants and the syringes, and there's so much detail in this pop.
It's a great looking pop.
However, they missed a major detail, is they didn't put a hat on him.
I think the fact that they missed putting a hat on him, I can't even see how it was an oversight. It's almost as if they did it on purpose. Like, they didn't want the hat to be there. They thought he would look better without the hat.
That's my assumption. Like, maybe they said, okay, we have a common, we have a glow chase, so let's do this guy without a hat. I don't know.
They really screwed the pooch on this one. You ever hear somebody say that?
No.
I always hear that, and I'm like, that sounds really gross. I don't like when they say that. Well, why are you saying that?
Pooch is the name for a dog.
Exactly. Why are you screwing the old pooch?
Yeah,
I'm like, hey! Keep my dog friends out of this.
That one is a pop that's bothered me for a long time, but I'm in love with the pop. I hate that they missed such a major detail.
So those are the pops that we think are the most poorly executed. Let us know what you think in the comments below. What pops do you think are the most poorly executed? Maybe a pop that missed the mark. It doesn't look like something from the movie. Or maybe it was missing some sort of detail that was in a TV show. Or maybe the colors are just off. Let us know in the comments below. We would love to know. Guys, remember, as always, we hunt together, yes! We will catch you next time.
Bye!
We hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Gastlecast. If so, please hit that subscribe button and check out some of our other fun content.
We've left you some links to some of our other videos that we thought you might like.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye!